Hey everybody.
Hey.
So we failed to do the thing.
We've had a kind of chaotic week, but it's fine. We're
have.
just going to play Samurai Gunn for as long as it takes us to answer the question sent to us by my good friend Chris. Chris asks, what are you afraid of?
Alright.
Oh wait, we should play Master of the House.
Yeah, we really should.
Here we go. Master of the House.
Mm-hmm.
What are you afraid of?
Yeah, just what are you afraid of?
Are you afraid of Death Dog?
No, Death Dog is my buddy.
Are you afraid of this lady with a blue hat? No, you shouldn't be, because you're much better at this than I am.
I don't know if I'm much better at this than you are.
I'd say that your win ratio has got to be around 70%.
Yeah, I suppose. But, never say die, Josh.
Yeah.
Because if you do, you might make me afraid. Oh, Josh has cleverly put
you
the mic in between me and the monitor.
Oh.
Which is definitely going to be an advantage for him, because I can't see a good portion of the screen.
Do you need to adjust things? We can adjust things. Move the mic wherever it needs to go. Okay. There'll be a noise, but it'll be fine.
How do we do
There's
this?
nowhere good to put it. It's just...
It's going to have to be like that.
Okay, sorry if we're quiet.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
All right, it's going.
It's going.
What are you afraid of?
I am afraid of time.
Oh.
I'm afraid of the passing of time because it seems to move at unreliable speeds. And I don't know if you all have experienced the acceleration. It's, a noted thing that when you're a kid, time does not move as fast as it is when you're grown. And a year for a kid feels much longer than a year for a grown-up does.
I've always been skeptical that this is really reflected in any serious way.
What do you mean reflected in any serious way?
In your experience, like
in my experience, it's absolutely reflected in my experience.
All right, not in mine.
But and I've heard, I didn't make it up either. I've heard people talk about this.
It is frequently talked about.
The issue with that is that I always thought that was a sort of a kid-adult binary that. Maybe when you were a kid, because you were still developing and putting all of this stuff in, it was going to be just sort of a thing that was part of your developmental process. And that when you were an adult, things would settle down. But no, I've found that the acceleration of subjective time keeps getting faster and faster as I grow older. And the last 6 years that I've spent here in New York feel like a much shorter time than the years beforehand that I spent in Portland, and those in turn feel like a shorter time than the years that I spent in Chicago, even though in reality the opposite is true.
I have a totem against this. Would you like to hear it?
Yeah, I would love to hear it. I mean,
I can't promise that it'll cure you of your existential woes, but
it's not really existential woes. I'm just afraid that time will start accelerating even faster, and then I'll be dead before I'm even aware of it. Like Death Dog, the dog is death.
What I have found when examining this is that yes, it's true. When I think about the milestones in my life, like they seem to get closer and closer together, right? Like Passage, that fucking Jason Rohrer game had a good visual metaphor for that.
Yeah.
But when I instead think of like that time we went to the last time you and I went to Burger King together.
Oh yeah.
Like
that was ages ago.
It seems like a fucking eternity ago,
yeah,
because that's just not a memory I access very often. And
you're right; it's still extremely fresh.
Yeah.
The way that we looked in the security cameras and the terrible music that was playing.
Right. And
it's actually probably pretty good music that was playing.
Yeah. Or like even better if you can think hard about like. That was a pretty good shot. I like that one. If you can think hard about something equally inconsequential that you can still kind of remember from a year ago, you might as well be remembering something from your distant childhood.
Well, I guess my memory just doesn't work that well. I don't really retain inconsequential things, which is part of the acceleration of time, because my life is less and less full of consequential events.
What about like how long have we been singing in this house the song? How many times do I have to tell you?
Oh man, not for only a couple of months, surely.
For much longer than that, actually.
Oh my god. There you
go. I guess
Josh has cured me of my time phobia. Old Father Time no longer has any terror for me at all.
Excellent.
All right, let's see if I can do the same for you. What are you afraid of, Josh?
I've been thinking about this question for a long time since Sucrose asked it, and it's really difficult for me to come up with a good answer to it, because when I think about my fears, oh man, I felt like I was doing good in that one.
You were. You got 8 to 10.
It's just not. You need 9 to 10 to have a chance to make it back. Like my fear, it's not. I'm not a person without fear. I would certainly not claim that. But when I think about my fears, they are so distant and indistinct. They're not things that I can put into words.
Oh, really?
You know, I mean, besides generally, you know, I'm afraid that things won't go well. You know, like. But I'll tell you this.
They certainly aren't going well.
Here's
Samurai
a specific worry that I've recently had a development in. I feel like that's kind of germane to the discussion.
Fair enough.
For a long time, I worried that like the rest of the world seems to have some kind of adult professionalness that I have never found within myself. You know, and I've worried.
Yeah.
What if I never find that within myself? But you know what recently occurred to me?
What?
Nobody has that.
Correct.
Nobody's good at their job.
Yeah, the evidence of that is all around.
It's like I kind of always knew that.
It's certainly
But
there in the people who you've worked for, Josh. I mean,
Sure,
the stories that you've told me, and of course the people who I've worked for. We're all just sort of like scrabbling away.
right.
You know.
So that was comforting to discover.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the corollary fear that I always used to have was not that, like, there's a sort of competence that I don't have that
Oh my god.
I'll develop. It's more that there is a skill set that allows one to make one's way in the world at all. You know.
Yeah.
To find a job, to like have a life.
Christ. I'm getting chumped.
And that I wouldn't develop it. And it turns out I didn't. But that's okay. So yeah, that fear was resolved by coming true, basically.
Boom!
Oh boy! Oh boy!
A 10 to 10. Rarely seen.
That was something else.
It's time for the invisible showdown.
Yeah, this is my favorite.
We gotta focus on this one. I'm afraid of the invisible death dog,
Yeah.
who's about to face me down.
Okay, I have to say that like my
No! I was gonna win it back. Jesus. You were saying.
I was saying that a fear I have that is related to that is that I am, unbeknownst to me, exerting a malign influence on people around me.
Yes, I'm aware of this.
Yes, I wrote a song about it, which is our best one.
Well, to speak no ill of the rest of them.
Yeah. Ooh, nicely tennised. And I'm pretty sure this one is without grounds, because it implies, among other things, that nobody else is capable of, being competently responsible for their own well-being.
Right.
But it's...
Oh, Jesus. That was a good one. Oh, except for the fact that you died right after.
I was styling and profiling.
Oh, come on.
And yeah, but it's proven very difficult to shake that one. I still feel like I'm, on some level, ruining people.
You know what my thought was as soon as I heard that song the first time?
Yeah.
It was, Isaac wrote a nice song about me. And also, it's not about me at all, but about like an internal version of me that Isaac has.
Correct.
So,
Well, do we? I mean, aren't we all to each other just weird internal versions?
Of course, but at no point in my life you got all 4 rounds on me. At no point did I hear that song and think, oh geez, what if he's right?
Yeah, I know. It's clearly an exercise in paranoia.
All of your fears are okay.
Yeah.
Death will probably be fine. You'll become one with the plants. And this death dog will greet you in the afterworld.
I used to be really afraid of dementia, but I've woken up in the middle of the night not knowing where I am a few times recently, and it's actually not bad. Bye, everybody.
I want to just add. I want to add one last note. This game is by one of the dudes who worked on Hyper Light Drifter. It's like, how old at this point?
It's so good.
It's the best.
This is the best.
It's the best local multiplayer game that there is.
Yeah.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.